Yo, hey yo, this is Coach in the Fight Hall. Looking at what? Einstein's Dreams? Yeah, my mom sent me this book about, 15, 16 years ago. And, my mom is the same one that read me Dante's Inferno when I was about, 10 or 11 years old. But she sent me this book, and I haven't quite finished it yet. I was going to read a chapter out of it. I've been threatening to read the whole book, but I don't really want to start over. It's a very, very deep book. It's past deep. This is Einstein's Dreams. He's basically trying to convince us that time doesn't exist or something weird like that. We're up here on June the 11th, 1965. I'm not going to be able to hold it and read it, so I'm just going to put it down. I'm going to read. It'd be good if I had some glasses. Whoop, there are some. All right. Let's see if I can get some of these words right. On a corner of Cramgrass and Theaterplatz, there is a small outdoor cafe with 6 blue tables and a row of blue petunias in the chef's window box. And from this cafe, one can see and hear the whole of Bern. People drift through the arcades on Cramgrass, talking and stopping to buy linen and wristwatches and cinnamon. A group of 8-year-old boys let out for morning recess from the grammar school on Cockergrass follow their teacher in single file through the streets to the banks of the Aire. Smoke rises lazily from a mill just over the river. Water gurgles from the spouts of the Zaranga fountain. The giant clock tower on Cramgrass strikes the quarter hour. If for the moment one ignores the sounds and the smells of the city, a remarkable sight will be seen. 2 men at the corner of Cockergrass are trying to part but cannot, as if they would never see each other again. They say goodbye, start to walk in opposite directions, then hurry back together and embrace. Nearby, a middle-aged woman sits on the stone rim of a fountain, weeping quietly. She grips the stone with her yellow-stained hands, grips it so hard that the blood rushes from her hands, and she stares in despair at the ground. Her loneliness has the permanence of a person who believes she will never see other people again. 2 women in sweaters strolls down Cramgrass, arm in arm, laughing with such abandon that they could be thinking no thought of the future. In fact, this is a world without future. In this world, time is a line that terminates at the present, both in reality and in the mind. In this world, no person can imagine the future. Imagine the future is no more possible than seeing color beyond velvet. The senses cannot conceive what may lie past the visible end of the spectrum. In a world without future, each parting of friends is a death. In a world without future, each loneliness is final. In a world without future, each thought is the last laugh. Each laugh is the last laugh. In a world without future, beyond the present lies nothingness, and people cling to the present as if hanging from a cliff. A person who cannot imagine the future is a person who cannot contemplate the results of his actions. Some are thus paralyzed into inaction. They lie in their beds through the day, wide awake but afraid to put on their clothes. They drink coffee and look at photographs. Others leap out of bed in the morning, unconcerned that each action leads into nothingness, unconcerned that they cannot plan out their lives. They live moment to moment. Each moment is full. Still others substitute the past for the future. They recount each memory, each action taken, each cause and effect, and are fascinated by how events have delivered them to this moment. The last moment of the world. The termination of the time that is time. The termination of the line that is time. In the little cafe with the 6 outdoor tables and the row of petunias, a young man sits with his coffee and pastries. He has been idly observing the street. He has seen the 2 laughing women in sweaters, the middle-aged woman at the fountain, the 2 friends who keep repeating goodbyes. As he sits, a dark rain cloud makes its way over the city, but the young man remains at his table. He can imagine only the present. And at this moment, the present is a beckoning sky, but no rain. As he sips his coffee and eats the pastry, he marvels at how the end of the world is so dark. Still, there is no rain, and he squints at his paper in the dwindling light, trying to read the last sentence that he will read in his life. Then, rain. The young man goes inside, takes off his wet jacket, marvels at how the world ends in rain. He discusses food with the chef, but he is not waiting for the rain to stop because he is not waiting for anything. In a world without future, each moment is the end of the world. After 20 minutes, the storm cloud passes, the rain stops, and the sky brightens. The young man returns to his table, marvels at the world ends in sunlight. Marvels that the world ends in sunlight. Yeah, this is Einstein's dreams. This is what this whole book is about. But if you think about a world without future, there's a lot of people living in a world without future. They see in the world getting increasingly bad with no hope of anything getting any better, and they're not familiar of the promises of the Lord. So the world is a world without a future. And so that would explain why a lot of people are acting just like the people in this short story. This is Einstein's dreams, y'all. Turning into reality.